I've seen a lot of change, been through a lot of pain. Some things are not the same as they were a year ago, but all will be okay. I move on each and every day. The past is where it stays, way back a year ago.
Hello everybody and welcome back to our Atletico Mini Recreation Series. We're off camera, we have won every game. We have put ourselves in a position where we could technically win this, you know. If we beat Barcelona away, depending on the result, we could have the head-to-head of Barcelona. And then it's going on to a straight shootout for the title race. We have 3 home games, 1 tough away game left. And I think Real Madrid have a couple of tough away games, and Barca have, I don't know Barca actually, but it wouldn't matter if we beat them and got the head-to-head on them. They've got 1 tough away game, which is that one. So if they don't drop points next, the chances are they win all 3. Real Madrid still have the Champions League to play in, and they've got Espanyol away and Villarreal. And that's 3 fairly tough away games, I would say. Like, they should drop points once in those 3 times. So basically, if we win all of our games the rest of the season, let's put it this way, if we win all our games and we can beat Barcelona's head-to-head on that result, we should win the league. So it's still there. It's mathematically still there. And we lost 4-3 at home, so it's going to require a win of at least 1 goal. I don't know if it goes down to away goals in the head-to-head when it comes down to when it says results between teams. We will check the live league table on it. It used to count, when you used to do results between teams in the Champions League, it used to count away goals as well. So it'd be like if you draw 2-2 away, but you draw 0-0 at home, you win the head-to-head because you got the 2 away goals. Now, I don't know whether it's going to count that in this head-to-head, to be honest. It doesn't actually specify it in the league rules there. So here we go then. The team is going to be Oblak in goal. Simeone, Lacroix, Skriniar, Reguilon across the back, Rodrigo de Paul, and Coque in the middle with Musiala and Andreas wide. Tammy Abraham and Moffi up front now. I've given it with Patson Daka. He may have scored the last game or 2, but he's been on the bench for these games and we've done better without him. He just squanders too many chances when he starts, so he's going to be dropped and we'll see how we get on. I did sell Molina off camera, like I said I would on camera, and we've got some money to spend, and we're going to invest it into either... it's going to be either Vitinha or Sadiq. Now, Sadiq here, I think, is a perfect replacement for Tammy Abraham. If you look at those attributes and you think like Diego Costa sort of profile of player, I think he's better to be like a backup for Tammy and be that sort of profile of player rather than the current player we've got. Moffi. Moffi's not far off it, but he's like a slight level below. He's not quite as good finishing. He's not quite as dominant in the air. He's just that like little level below it. So I think that's a nice upgrade for us. But we'll see. Anyway, let's get into it. Let's see if Atleti can do the unthinkable and pull off a miracle. Assistant manager says pick up your left off. That's what he's going to say. He's been here before, Gabby, at Barcelona away, needing a win. Actually, no, it was a draw last one. They needed a draw in 2014. But that's a pretty good team they've got out there, isn't it? Here we go then. All online. Can we do it? I think they're going to beat us 2-1, is my prediction. Just Lewandowski, something like that, with a goal in behind, something to that nature. As Rafinha gets it early on, Bellerin to Pedri. Pedri plays it early in. We head this away. Tammy Abraham gets it, runs away with it. He's going to look to play in. Oh, he's all open here. Andreas plays Moffi, and Moffi's through. He shoots and he scores, but I think he's just off. That's what I mean. If it was like Umar Sadiq, I don't think he misses that. I don't think he runs offside. Yeah, he was off just. Okay. I think Rafinha just went off injured for them. So I didn't see who came on, but I'm pretty sure Dembele was already injured. So if we were to score first, I think it was Dembele was injured anyway, we could have a chance because I don't know they've got on the wings right this second. Tammy Abraham gets up to this. Oh, he doesn't get there. Like, that's so frustrating to watch that. Tammy Abraham getting beaten in the air by whoever that was. Oh, Ferran Torres is in. Yeah, always missed it. It was close. They've got Gavi on the wing right now. Interesting. Okay. If we score first, we've got a chance, but we have to score first. Who's going to pick out? Is he going to go long? He might go long here. He does. And yeah, I mean, Moffi somehow got to that. I don't know how he's got to that, really. Moffi's still got it. I was about to say, he's not really dominant enough in the air to be like the Diego Costa. And Tammy's there. Is he onside, though? This is closer than the previous one. This has got a slightly better chance of being onside. I think he's just off. I think he's marginally off. Come on. Yes, he scored. It's 1-0. Right. First thing we need to look at. What does the league table say is the current state of play? Okay, Tammy scores. So, does it go to goal difference next? Is it updated yet? Okay. So forget the away goals. All we need to do is win by a single goal, and it goes down to goal difference between us and Barca. That's it. So that's your evidence right there. That's all we need to do. Later on, For half time, Kirky whips it in far post. Tammy heads it. It's just over. I didn't think it was going to be a goal. It started off too quickly, that highlight for me. And we'll go into half time. We'll say don't get complacent. I'm fearing a late goal from them to get the winner. The equaliser, but really it's a winner for them, isn't it? All they need to do is draw the game. We need to win it. Gavi has said he's hoping not something like this, not like a push penalty or something like that. Oof, that was close. They've not changed formation yet. They've still got Gavi out wide. I'm looking at our team here. Jamal Musiala's playing the worst by quite a distance. I mean, he's probably got to come off. I think Rodrigo de Paul's the first one's going to come off, and let's throw on Barella. Maybe Jamal Musiala off, and do we got Carrasco or Koeman? Let's go Koeman because we're trying to hit him on the break now, aren't we, a little bit? He might get an opportunity just to run him down the right-hand side, you know. Even though he's quicker and he's more attacking than Carrasco, he's not, like, worse defensively. He's got pretty good work rate stuff. Right, time is sort of going by here. Let's get Moffy off. Let's get... Right, let's bring on Patson Daka because he's coming on as a sub. He might do all right as a sub in this sort of scenario. This part of the back line is starting to really worry me, but they've got to stay out there for now, I think. It's coming up to the time where we normally see out the game. So, we've been doing this, haven't we? Where can we go with that? That's as best as we can do. I may just hope that the boys can do it. Maybe we do that. Yeah. Yeah, I think we do that. I think that's the best we can do, and just pray the boys can somehow do it for us. It's all on this. Instant highlight. Instant goal. That was instant. From the moment I clicked that was an instant goal. Literally nothing else happened. It was a straight goal. Set piece for Barca. They're going to clip it into the area. They have to win the game as well, don't forget. They can't play for the draw because we're both behind Madrid points-wise, so they're not going to take the draw. They are going to go for it as well, which could make this a chaotic ending. Patson Daka runs away with this. He's got options in the middle. Koeman's well offside. It was never going to be Koeman there. This could be their highlight. This is not good. Crino does win it. Koke. Saul to Carrasco. Carrasco to Patson Daka. It's terrible. Oh no, who's going to win this? Now Carrasco gets another go at Saul. Oh no, what is it going to be? Oh, it's going to be their highlight. I don't believe it, man. Terrible result. Terrible result. We're points behind Barca, don't have the head-to-head, and we give points to Madrid. Terrible, 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 terrible. Not going to lie, I find it personally hard to accept what just happened in that game. I'm not happy with that at all. Right, next game in this episode, I didn't really specify what we're going to do. We're going to miss out, I think definitely this, maybe even this one, come back for the Valencia game, just because we're not going to learn anything from these two games. We're not going to win it in those two games. We're probably going to win both of them and still be in with a shout, like an outside shout. We're not going to have won it. We're not going to be completely out of it, I don't think, in the next two games. There's no point, I don't think, in coming back for those. I reckon we just do Valencia and Betis and we finish off the season. So I'll see you in a second for the Valencia game. Welcome back. So you can see we're actually a game later than we said. The reason for that is that Real Madrid didn't drop points, unfortunately. So they're going to win the league, and they have mathematically won it already, actually. So I thought there was no point in coming back for the Valencia game with that in mind. So what can we play for on the last day? Second place is one thing, but the most important thing is the recreation, right? So because of the way the match engine sort of is, and the way that the players that we have, we're going to probably score more goals than Simeone's team did, right? But what's really important, if we win our last game, we finish on 89 points. And that's only 1 point less than he got in real life in 2013-14. So that's a pretty close replication in terms of the points. Which, was a massive point total, For him and his team to win that league that year with Messi at his prime, Ronaldo at his prime, he needed both Barcelona and Real Madrid to have slightly poorer seasons for him to win it, because that's just the way that his teams played. They drew a lot of games, had a lot of close games that they didn't win because of the way that they played. And that's the same thing for us, really. So we're going to end up conceding between most likely 28 and 31 goals. I can't see us conceding more than 3 in the last game. Atletico Madrid in real life conceded 26 goals. So let's say if we can keep a clean sheet or concede just 1 to keep it below 30, we're going to be within a margin of error. We're going to have conceded within 3 goals of the real life total, which I think is brilliant because there's factors at play that, if you could create some parallel universe where they played out the same season again from real life, you're probably going to end up with 1, unless you're not winning it, because Barcelona would have had a better season, but probably even goals against, right, and goals for and the points probably wouldn't be the same. So I think we're within a margin of error if we can keep below 30. 30, conceding 4 more goals plus, it starts to lose that sort of, although it's still within, I think, reason, it's a little immersion break in recreation when you start to see not double figures, but for it to go into the 30s instead of the 20s, that'd be slightly disappointing. So I want to restrict it to less than 2 goals conceded this last game and a win. 89 points, so 1 point below, within 3 goals, the goals conceded. That's a very good season. It's a shame we're going to win nothing this season, but it's good from a recreation standpoint. It gives us something to build on, right? And obviously, that wasn't Simeone's first season. I know he picked up a slightly worse situation than we've had, but, that wasn't the first season, so we'll see how things go. But, I don't know. I'm a little disappointed that we haven't won the league, if I'm honest with you. That obviously was the objective, but it does mean that it turns it into like a little different type of save for us. Not only have we've sort of done the recreation, I think this tactic is quite close, and it's now about, can we, 1, win the league? 2, can we win it with less than 30 goals, definitely? And 3rd, can we win the Champions League where they didn't, right, in a 3-year period? So in my head right now, this is going to be at least a 3-season save. Probably 3 seasons is going to be the amount. So that's season 1 that we're going to conclude here today, right now. We're not going to do a debrief in this episode. What I'm going to do next episode, we're going to do a debrief of all the defensive stats of the players individually, look at the individual players, see who stood out, who didn't perform for us, who wasn't performing to their name. So because you look at that team, the reason I say it like that, we all know that Simeone, Oblak, Delcroix, Skriniar, and probably Reguilon are all good Foot Manager defenders. And within Foot Manager, most of us would select definitely those 4. Maybe not so much Reguilon, but Reguilon is a really good player too. We would have most of those in almost any style of football with any team because they're all top-level players. However, I think there's going to be players there and players in other positions that haven't performed, but maybe it wasn't completely obvious to us on the naked eye. Andreas has got quite a low goals and assists total, but he's only had 16 starts and he's going to get better, obviously. So I'm not too worried about Andreas. He'll be better next year. And we'll look at everybody else and see what we come up with, see what the stats tell us. But we'll do that in the next episode. Here, we'll just conclude the season, see how we do, and see what we end up with exactly. So we've got Betis at home, are a good side. That's going to be the team. In fact, let's take out Andreas. Let's play Barella and do that for the last game and see how we get on. All right, then, last game. Assistant manager is going to say, we've won the last match. We've actually ended the season really well, by the way. Like the points, not just the points we've got from the wins, but the overall results, the goals conceded, the performance away to Barca was generally pretty good. If we didn't have to win the game, that was a really good solid defense. That was a really good solid defensive performance. I think having a better way to see out the game would have been nice. I mean, I don't know really what caused that. I haven't delved into that, the Barcelona goal, but that didn't happen before. It didn't happen after that. Was it unlucky? Could have been. Could have just been the exact changes we made to the exact formation, the exact players we made changes with, messed up where they weren't set properly for the set piece when the set piece was taken. It could have been that. Yeah, it could have been something like that. I've not looked back into it yet. I wanted to finish the season first. If it happens to us again, I probably will make sure we have that game ready to go back to and have a look at that again, because that was really disappointing from my perspective. But since we've gone to this high winger, man like the fullback, getting the best of both worlds, as it were, apart from that nonsense we just saw from Skriniar, yeah, we've been better defensively. We've conceded less goals, conceded less chances, scored about the same amount of goals and got more points. So overall, that's a massive net positive. And it's a net positive anyway in the area that we want. If it had been like better defensively but not as good in attack, that would also be fine, right? Because that's what we were trying to do. As bad as I can makes it 1-0. But yeah, things have looked more positive. Just it was too late, and we needed Real Madrid to have a slightly worse season than they did. Unfortunately, they haven't. Currently second on 89 points. And obviously, compared to real life, we've scored a load more goals than they scored in real life as well. I'm the strikers. Moffi will definitely lead. I'm considering selling Patson Daka as well. He's let me down too many times when it mattered, and he doesn't really fit into a specific player that I'm looking for. I wanted complete players that replicated players from that season, ideally. But if I couldn't get that, the next best thing was to try and get somebody who could just compete and help us compete in that position and shoehorn them into a role at some point. But like Daka's one of those, really. I'm going to get rid of Daka. Barca are losing at home to Elche at the moment. So we could quite easily, if things stay as they are, be finishing second place here. So also be interesting to go through the goals conceded and see where we conceded most of our goals. Moffi goes in, Moffi misses it. Yeah, Moffi and Daka, the two that are front right now, are going to both be gone. So Tammy stays. We'll introduce Sadiq as the backup for him. I'd like to get somebody like a Lautaro Martinez. That would be my first choice. I don't think we're going to get him because when I look at the options of who to buy, he's never there, never interested. So he's unlikely to be him. There's players like Ansu Fati is that sort of type in terms of like being able to dribble, being quite creative, but also being a good finisher as well, being good off the ball. There aren't too many of those. Like Marcus Rashford actually is a lot better in possession than maybe in real life you would expect. But in the game, he's quite good at like passing and vision. The other player that caught my eye that actually looked like a pretty, if you factor out the height and you just looked at the attributes, it's a pretty good carbon copy. It's actually Isaac. Isaac, good dribbling, good finishing, good off the ball, good passing and vision. He's got like 14 and 13 passing and vision. Like he's actually quite close attributes wise to what David Villa was like. Oh, it's 1-1. So that's what we can concede more than one. That's the only one we concede, boys. No more, please. Right, Koke off, Saul on, Jamal Musiala, get yourself off. Let's get on Carrasco on the left. Yeah, Tammy is suspended, by the way. That's why he's not playing again. I didn't mention that earlier. Moffy off. Let's get Kwame on. Molina can come on at right back. And I think Ronaldo at left back. Yeah, Ronaldo at left back. And that's going to be our changes all done. Here we go then. Last highlight of the game. Potentially of the season. I don't know if it is going to be the last one of the game. Actually, it could be. It could be the last highlight of the game in the season right here. Kwame gets it, plays it to Carrasco. Carrasco plays it behind the Daku, who's got to score that. Does not score that somehow. I think it hit the bar and hit the post. So that tells you everything, doesn't it? Yeah, that's like those kind of chances. That's Martinez. I mean, he may have missed that as well, but like that's the kind of chance that Daka misses. Like I would say 5 times out of 10, maybe 6 or 7 times out of 10. You're bordering on. Like here's another one. Like. That's not easy. I might score it. So that's not easy. He's done well to get to that and cause the problem between the goalkeeper and defenders, but he sort of forced the mistake and then missed it anyway. I just feel like the top level strikers like Haaland, if I'm playing on my City save, he would have found a way to make that a goal. Either would have got there slightly earlier, would have bent it around the play at the end of it. You know, Daka just misses that sort of next level. So we're going to finish on 87 points, which puts us officially 3 points down on the real life total. And we finished third on the head-to-head. They beat us on head-to-head because they beat us at our place and we drew away. So Barca beat us on the head-to-head, finishing second. We finished third. We finished 3 points below the real-life total and 3 goals behind. That's pretty good. So we're looking for a 3-point improvement to the total, a point, and a 3-goal improvement in goals conceded. And if we can score no more than 94, I don't want to score 100 with an Atleti Simeone team. That's way too many, really. It'd be nice if we can just finish the close one-on-ones in the games that matter, rather than also well and good as, you know, look at us sticking. We stick 4 past Getafe, 5 past Osasuna. Oh, look how great we are. Yeah, don't give a fuck about that, lads. Win the bloody close games. That's what you're there to do. Win the close games. Keep clean sheets. That's what you got to do. And we didn't do it often enough. So there you go. That's going to finish the season. Yeah, I don't want to go into the sort of debrief too much right now, so we're going to start off with that in the next episode and probably go through. I'll probably do that and like the transfer window in the next episode. A little more like the Moneyball series that I did in that sort of style, but obviously you won't see as much of the negotiations. You'll just see who I went with, but you'll know in advance who I'm going for, at least position-wise and why. We go through all the stats afterwards as well. So yeah, pretty good stuff. In some areas, disappointing. I feel a bit torn because there are some things I'm really happy with. The fact that we ended well. We found a solution. We got close to the recreation. We had some problems. We fixed it. We think we had a pretty good end to the season, not just results-wise, but goals against and the way we defended, which is obviously good. We could have done better in the Champions League, and we probably could have won a cup this year. Like that. I mean, if somebody watching now, if you were to do this season with Atleti and you done this tactic, there's a really good chance that you could win the whole thing. Like you could win the Spanish League, Spanish Cup, and the Champions League. A few things went against us at different times. I think not having a proper striker for long parts of the season didn't help. Really had one striker this year. I had Tammy Abraham. And then somebody else, please fill that other slot so we can get away with it, because everybody was poor. I didn't trust any of them, really. Patson Daka's goals are a bit of a fraud. He scored a lot of those goals in the games where we won by multiple goals, and a lot of them when we were already ahead. And so I don't. That's a fraud. That is a fraudulent stat right there. That's what that is. So that's going to do it. That's conclude the season. So thank you to all of you that have watched this so far and been part of the series. I really appreciate it. We're definitely going to do a second season, obviously. If we were to win everything next year, get the tactic recreation perfect and concede like 3 goals, then that would be that. But we'll see how things go. Let's just take it as we go for the next few seasons. Let's see what we can do at Atleti. Obviously, we have to win the league in this series. And I'd say we probably have to win it conceding less than 30. I don't think conceding it with 20, with like 34 is going to... I don't think winning the league with 34 goals conceded plus is going to be acceptable. So that is going to be that. That's the episode. Thank you for watching. And I'll see you next time when we go through all the transfers and we debrief the season. Thanks for watching.